Hi there, and welcome to Apple World. Scott Disick and his late Wellbeing battles charging that Kris Jenner's sweetheart and Diddy's dear companion Cory could have attempted to take him out for uncovering the Kardashians' supposed connections to Diddy's violations, and I know this sounds insane to indeed even ponder, yet remember that there's an entire pack of obscure stories emerging about Cory. Cory was near Dewey for quite a long time, and he's even one of the primary individuals at the scene when Diddy's ex-Kim Watchman passed. Dia went under some exceptionally baffling conditions in 2018. As per insiders, Cory could have been sent there to tidy up after Kim's passing, and you definitely know the vast majority are not accepting the authorities' story that Kim passed on from pneumonia. We should not neglect that Kanye over. And again, attempted to caution us about Cory, and surprisingly, alluded to him as the CIA on numerous events back in 2020. Kanye asserted that Cory and Kris were plotting against him, and afterward, in 2022, Kanye went off on Cory on Instagram, calling him pagan, and saying that he's not permitted to be around Kanye's children presently. Many individuals excused this at the time as another of Kanye's Albert. However, when you draw an obvious conclusion and these new reports about Scott Disick, you can't resist that urge to contemplate whether Kanye was onto something from the start. So what's as a matter of fact happening with Scott? Is it genuine that Scott is truly frightened for his life? Furthermore, assuming that is the case, what does this say about Cory and his association to Diddy? We should separate it as far as possible. In addition to the fact that Cory very was close to Kim Dorman and Diddy, he was there when the coroner showed up to Kim Watchman's house after 911 was called. Am I insane? That is Cory. Bet 100% not in the blue, the one right behind them now. Kourtney Kardashian's ex Scott became famous with his wild way of behaving, an enormous character on Staying Aware of the Kardashians. However, after the past couple of years, Scott has hit a terrifying descending, winding, and essentially vanished from the center of attention. And between his medical problems, unexpected weight misfortune, and close-to-home battles and habits, Scott appears to be in a delicate state. What's more, fans are beginning to stress. As a matter of fact about him, I didn't perceive Scott has lost an uncommon measure of weight, as you can tell in this photograph. And I'm really concerned since, supposing that you take a gander at photographs from a year prior, this was Scott in 2023, and this is him now. And let's assume I'm concerned due to the depressed in eyes, like he simply looks unfortunate. Not everyone realizes that Scott has been very open about his fights with fixation. What's more, in the event that you've watched Staying Aware of the Kardashians, you know his hard celebration and substance use issues have been a steady subject on the show. Scott, get in your room, please, because Keith will be here in a moment and you won't have some work. So why don't you go to the room and save yourself a ton of humiliation, please? Scott's habit was one of the primary reasons his relationship with Kourtney was constantly stressed, and keeping in mind that Kourtney was held on by him for quite a long time, Scott's steady backslides prompted dangerous battles, and at last their separation. Can I get back home? You're not permitted to come here, and in that condition of mind, I love you, and by the manner in which I know I've made you debilitated, I know you might be at any point. Could we at any point go? Can you hit the hay? Scott, I simply don't think any of this is like going anywhere positive. Give me the telephone. Stay here. This is what he does when he returns home. Okay, done. I'm returning home. No, you're not. No, you're not. I'm returning home. She doesn't need you to return home. She maintains that I should get back home. Shut up, you ass. Shut up, Court. I got a call in 2020. Scott looked into recovery to bargain with his past injuries after he lost both of his folks in somewhere around 90 days of each other. Scott gave an assertion through his lawyer, saying with an end goal to at long last settle and manage the torment that Scott has been quietly languishing over numerous years due to the abrupt passing of his mom, followed by the demise of his dad. 3 months after the fact, Scott pursued the choice to actually take a look at himself into the recovery office. Keep going weak to deal with his previous injuries. The deficiency of his folks set off Scott's downturn and made his substance utilization more regrettable, and to make matters more terrible, his recovery stay was destroyed after photographs of him inside the office spilled to the media, which caused Scott to look at very quickly. Now Scott later even conceded that things got so dim at one point that he examined ending his own life. It's simply horrible, yet as I don't like on the off chance that I didn't have those children, I would kill myself. However, I have them, and I'm going to be here, and I will make it right for them. However, it's simply been a truly hard time going from like having every one of you folks having no one except for on top of his liquor and substance habits. Scott's been managing some serious medical issues of late. First, he was engaged with two significant mishaps back-to-back. In August 2022, reports emerged that Scott was harmed in the wake of hitting a stone letter drop and flipping his Lamborghini SUV. Scott was driving in the Oaks, which is a confidential gated local area. What's more, clearly something happened in light of the fact that he penetrated a postbox and flipped the vehicle on its side. How did that happen? What a solid postbox to flip over a vehicle like that. It's a stone letter drop, better believe it. These things are cemented into the ground. He was going quickly enough that he pulled the entire thing out of the ground. He was the just individual associated with this mishap. Cops say no indication of any medications or liquor, and afterward, in 2023, Scott was engaged with another mishap and supported serious backwhack while riding soil bicycles with his child bricklayer. And then, at that point, over the course of the last year or so, fans seen that Scott lost a lot of weight over a brief time frame. And of course, this ignited reports that Scott was utilizing OIC. Many individuals are estimating that this is because of OIC, and that the manner in which his eyes look are a side impact of OIC. On the off chance that you don't know, which a great many people do, OIC is moving in Hollywood right now. Such count VIPs are utilizing it has caused a public lack, and superstars are utilizing it to get very thin and get in shape very quick, since that is exactly what's stylish at the present time. So many individuals have addressed, is Scott going down that course? 2. It is really insane to see, as I didn't remember him like this. Many individuals have been saying he seems to be Jared Leto, due to how his face is truly like dispersed, and you can truly see his bone design now similar as Jared Leto. I didn't perceive him until I saw the subtitle that this was Scott, since I feel even his more youthful pictures, this doesn't look anything like him. Anything that it is, simply send a few decent considerations for him, his children, his family. However, presently this story has taken another unusual turn, and reports as of late sprung up internet-based that the vehicle Jenners might have attempted to forfeit Scott. And get this, the roads are saying that they got Kris Jenner's sweetheart and Diddy's dear company on Cory bet to assist them with releasing Scott. Now, I know this sounds extremely wild, and sincerely, might we at any point put anything past Diddy? What's more, the Kardashians as of now, and recall a similar hypothesis was tossed around about different men who were involved with vehicle Jenner ladies, particularly Kanye West, who was quite asserted that Kris, Kim, and Cory bet plotted to secure him and put him under a mental hold. In his tempest of tweets, Yippee blamed Kim and Kris for attempting to secure him and said Kim was attempting to fly to Wyoming with a specialist to lock me up, like on the film Get Out, on the grounds that I cried about saving my girl's life recently. From that point, things took a little of a sharp turn, and Kanye started to make tweets about how his kids won't ever be captured for Playboy, how Kris isn't permitted to associate with them, and Drake with a reasoning emoticon. And presently, we should discuss the elephant in the room, otherwise known as Cory bet, on the grounds that an entirety pack of obscure stuff as of late re-emerged about his association with Diddy, with some reports in any event asserting that Cory supposedly attempted to harm Scott on the grounds that Scott took steps to uncover Cher's talk binds to Diddy's criminal endeavor. Presently, Kris Jenner's sweetheart Cory bet is back in his spotlight, and this time, this is a direct result of his questionable associations to Diddy. So Cory's been with Kris for what feels like always, yet has anybody at any point halted to ask where this folks even came from? It resembles one day he just sprung up as Kris' friend with benefits, and nobody truly understands what he was doing previously. Yet what's much more insane is the secret associated with Cory, by all accounts with everyone in Hollywood. I mean, this man is around here going up to everybody from Diddy and Jay-Z to Ellen DeGeneres, and indeed even Sovereign. Harry now investigates this clasp from last year. Ricker and Jay-Z were spotted accompanying Beyoncé to her vehicle after a pregram's party, and purportedly, they were attempting to keep the paparazzi from getting Beyoncé under the impact. Relax, sorry. Unfortunately, genuinely, for what reason is Cory behaving like Beyoncé's protector? And if that is not wild sufficient, Cory's even been seen flying on the Carter's personal luxury plane on numerous occasions. So what precisely does Cory do well? The roads are saying that he may be one of those Hollywood controllers. Well, hold up, stand by brief. How could Cory trouble taking care of other celebs when he's involved with Kris Jenner? She's stone cold broke. Well, a few sources are presently saying that there's something else to Cory's overseer job besides we understand and word in the roads, is that these Hollywood overseers may as a matter of fact be attached to some clandestine government work. Recollect Kay's previous fitness coach Harley Pastorick. Later he danger Kanye that he would systematize him and send him back to Zombieland. Harley was uncovered for having associations with the Canadian knowledge. He even conceded in an interview. Subscribe Apple World for more videos.